two of those teams that are looking to see if they can't crack into a potential top 4 spot start us off today in a game that had far different meaning back in Stage 2 and Stage 3 of last year. Suddenly, XSET and Beastcoast meet on the same playing field again, yet it's not under the same 8th and 9th place stakes. Now it's like 4th and 5th, 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, you go from having teams that have, you know, that connotation. It was the toilet bowl every time.
It was, yeah.
It was the toilet bowl,
the tank bowl, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. And now it's a really good matchup of two dynamic teams that are bringing a new play style into the NA scene.
Yeah, I think this is a squad. Like, finally, we're going to actually see these two teams play at their full strength. They look so much better this stage, and I think we're going to get a bit of a better game.
Certainly hope so. Their opponents on the opposite side of the field are trying to speed through this season as much as they possibly can. But for Beastcoast, it feels like they got their feet underneath them. We didn't know if this roster was going to do anything substantial. They're playing like a team. They're not playing like individuals, which is probably the biggest surprise because we know how Drip likes to play. We know Slash's longevity. We had zero expectations for how Surf and Sweater would do in a LAN environment, and now they're here contending for top 4.
Yeah, I think you got to give a lot of credit to actually the player or the people on this team that have stuck around since last stage, at least to an extent. I'm talking about the support staff, Mark, Rams, and Crux, not all situating from previously, but I think they've added a lot. This team looks very creative, and there's one player in particular that I think has been phenomenal. The player nobody was talking about before the stage started. I'm talking about Surf. Last Playday against the Sonics, he had a phenomenal stat line, 89 cost, a 1.62 rating was the highest of the day, or at least up there in the top 2. Overall stats look fantastic as well, 48 and 29, 9 and 4 opener, and mad props to whoever on Beastcoast scouted this player out, because last year he played on Two-Faced and Honor in CL. Those were not teams that people were talking about, and now he's coming here, he's popping off. Clearly somebody saw something special in him, and they were right.
Yeah, one of the biggest things about Surf is there are different kinds of players. You have the players that punch up really well and the players that punch down. When you go to the NAL and you're playing against great teams, it's great to be Surf because he punches up. He hits the uppercuts. He knows how to take down these top tier players, and the way that he's playing is just absolutely great. You were talking about the system of Beastcoast. Everybody is just on the same page at all times, and that really lends itself to Surf.
I guess the question more becomes, why didn't Surf get picked up by XSET in the midst of all of the players that they were grabbing and trying to form into a coherent roster? Because on the XSET side of things, so far, first week, very disappointing in like most respects. Second week, got their attacks figured out, only lost, I think it was 1 round over the course of 2 games. The amount of things they were able to do in such a short span of time, implement Budega's new playstyle into the mix, it feels like suddenly this team is like, you know what, first week, shake off the rust. Now we're in a position where we can actually win something big.
Yeah, XSET, for my money, looks so much better, especially on those attacks. You look back to last week, 12-0, a flawless record when they were going on offense. 64% win rate overall on the stage. That's 12 points above the average, which is insane. Feels like Yaga and Spirits have been really, really sick on the roam clear. Most of the rounds were over by like a minute 30, it felt like, in the last game. They were very, very, very fast. Even if they lose like the opener, there's always a trade, there's always some other fight going on somewhere on the map that would bounce things back. So I really did like their pushes against the Sonics.
Yeah, overall with their attacks as well, is you had, in the first couple of days, it was kind of gimmicky play calls.
Yes.
You would see like little tiny plays, as opposed to now they were all on the same page. It was a more so philosophy and ideology that was consistent throughout the entirety of a round, instead of just kind of a flash in the pan moment, and man, did it make a difference.
Well, now we've got through 4 days ban and pick rates for both teams on maps that we already kind of have an expectation they like to go to. They want to permaban it a lot. Questions we had coming into the stage that we now have at least a little bit of an answer for. So where are we going between XSET, Beastcoast, Electric Boogaloo?
Well, you talk about the games that we've seen so far, and definitely there's a trend for Beastcoast. Last week, Club and Chalet were their first 2 bans in every single game, and they've banned it throughout all the matches. So I'm expecting to see those first ones come through. XSET also banning out 2 new maps, Border and Skyscraper. We have 3 new maps in the pool total this stage. XSET have avoided all of them. There's Chalet, there's Clubhouse, the consistent bans from Beastcoast. Their third one could be a bit of a toss-up. XSET as well, they don't have to go for the 3rd new map, but there are certainly choices for them. They've been pretty strong last week, so I don't know if they're afraid of anything. There's Theme Park, so we're going to one of the old maps today. That's all right. We need that for sure, and then we get one more ban from Beastcoast to end out this first half, and it's going to be Oregon. They actually just won that over the Sonics on Playday 4, 7-2, but they lost it against Oxygen Playday 3, so maybe just a little tired of it.
Yeah, and when you have kind of the last 3 maps where the Cafe was an overlap map for both of these teams, they aren't really a fan, they're not aficionados of Cafe, so with the ban style of Beastcoast so far, They have their permabans, but they've been a little bit hesitant on the side of kind of the overlaps. You know, they're trying to leave the hook maps for the latter half, as opposed to XSET, who's been really aggressive on their ban style. And that leads us to go to Bank, which for XSET, in theory, you would think, looking at the past results of, hey, they got kind of smacked around last time they played this game. It might be a little bit worrying.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bank for these two teams has a lot of firsts associated with it. For XSET, it was the first map this iteration of the roster ever played. They lost to SSG, obviously. But for Beastcoast, back on their old roster, they were the first team in North America ever to play Bank. And they also got slammed by a top 4 team against TSM.
So we got to figure out how these teams shake out. But I think we got to get some opinions on the opposite side of things, because not only do we have the triumphant return of one CL talent, we have the introduction of another. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the NAL, Jonah Jays Wills Willinger, and making his NAL debut, Carter Lynx Hannafeld. My dude, welcome to the big stage.
Thanks, Jacob. It is so good to be here. And Carter, it is incredible to have you by my side. I mean, let's go right into this first match, though. We've got a pretty big responsibility on our hands. Last time Cookies and I were here, we set the bar pretty high. Best prediction rate of everyone else, including Doa's coin. So let's start it off with a prediction from you. Who's taking this first one?
Well, I'm sorry you said that, because I'm going to tank this one. I have no confidence in my predictions today. So I'm going to be honest, this was a toss-up game for me. I wasn't sure, do I want to go Beast Coast? XSET are looking good, but Beast Coast, I've really liked how they're playing. I'm going to go BC today. I'm really feeling it, and I think when you look at XSET, you can obviously talk more when you go into your predictions. I think XSET, they go up against a weakened Sonics that give them a lot of space. Go up against a PB, who can sometimes underestimate their performance, give them a lot of space. But I think when XSET go up against a team like BC, who are not going to give them any room to breathe, I think they might struggle. I think it's going to be a close one. I don't think XSET are going to get smoked, but I think it's BC on top in the end.
All right, well, I am going to go the other way. I'm going to go with XSET because their dominance in the last 2 play days was insane.
It's fair reason.
I think Kino said it right after those victories. He said in an interview they finally found their true potential. I believe him. I'm going to go with XSET.
Fair enough.
So I also love the fact that we've got it like specifically mentioned as Lynx is Pengu's predictions and Jay's Wills is Int, which given
so
the way
sorry.
Parker likes to
I'm so
throw his
sorry, Nick.
predictions, I think is just perfect. But we got to get through everyone else's. You'll notice that it does still say the coin, but technically the coin's not here. So what we've done in the past is it just kind of like, I mean, what? They've already, like, it's already been flipped. So it'll just kind of show up with whatever. But at least in this case, Jesse, give me what you're thinking for this game.
I mean, I know the XSET looked good last week, but I think Beast Coast had harder games, and despite losing that OXG game, I thought they still played very well. I actually talked with Oxygen after that match. They said they thought it could have gone the distance because Beast Coast were a really scary team. So I'm going to trust them on that. I'm feeling Beast Coast this game.
In some ways, I'm going to go the opposite way just because my prediction's still up here, so I guess I still have a reputation to maintain. I'm going to give it to XSET because those attacks look so potent, the way that they were clearing through. They had top control very quickly. It felt like there wasn't anything that really could stop them effectively. And again, they only lost 1 round against 2 opponents that theoretically should have played way better than they did last week. Might be a bit of a misnomer, but I think there's a bit of upset potential for this XSET squad. But now, Connor, you don't get a prediction because we're just looking at what the coin says. So I think what they're going to do is they'll change it, and then we'll see what it goes with. And right now, we're completely split between XSET and Beast Coast. So which way does the coin flip? Reveal it.
Ooh,
oh, it
that's
Beast
good.
Coast.
That's good.
The
That's good.
coin is incorrect. I say that
always
with my
incorrect.
chest.
It is.
I'm going to say that with my chest because unless for Beast Coast we see Drip putting bulletproof cameras on the ground, looking up Skylight, and him promoted to Doc, even if Spirits isn't necessarily the best Blank player, just the way that XSET have been playing just kind of lends itself to the free-flowing attacking side of this map, which if you get your attacks down, you can typically build a lot of momentum.
Well, we got to get this bad boy underway. We're heading to Bank between XSET and Beast Coast, and it'll be Jays Wills and Lynx with the call.
All right, well, this game had, I think like our analyst said, some pretty negative connotations the last time it was played. But this stage, Carter, we have got a very different story on our hands. It is 2 teams fighting for a spot in the top 4. I think we've got a good one.
Yeah, again, as you said, very different connotation to last stage. And honestly, talking about making predictions, this is one of the toughest ones of the day for me. Like SSG, OXG at the end, yeah, that one's a very close one. Who's going to win? This one was about the same difficulty for me, again, because XSET, this is a time for them to prove themselves, of course. They had the not great matches the first couple weeks. They had the insanely good matches the second couple of play days. And now here, They come against Beastcoast, a team that probably is the closest to them stylistically in the whole NAL. They're not entirely alike, but they are fairly close. I think this is a good time for them to prove themselves, not only with a victory, getting a positive record, but also showing that they can deal with this kind of playstyle that Beastcoast are exhibiting. That is in of itself different than most other teams in the NAL.
Yeah, playstyle. I like that you mentioned that because it's going to be a conversation throughout this bank map because both of these teams, I think, coming into this stage had a very unique playstyle.
Absolutely.
Something that they were also trying to define for themselves, right? It was XSET who put this brand new roster together, and we had a lot of questions. Are we going to see a Brazilian-style playstyle from a Brazilian core of a roster, or are we going to see them play more like a traditional NA Siege? And I think we generally have our answer. We're seeing a combination of both, but it's that Brazilian aggression, their ability to take gunfights that especially over the last 2 Playdays has put them over the top.
And it's not only that ability to take gunfights, well, obviously that in isolation, but the fact that they have it all over the roster. Go back to that PB game. Yeah, sure, Kino was doing great in Sonics, on support, running up long, getting that 3K. He had a lot of great moments on support, whether from Yana to Hibana. But Spirits in that PB game, you had PB running the standard library hold. They got somebody chimney, they got somebody library, and he said, I could clear you with my nades, or I could hop in a library window and shoot you with an LMG. Now, I don't know if that's going to transition here on Bank, how much it's going to overlap, but that is the one factor that I always keep my back of my head with XSET. Who is going to be shooting today, and will everyone be on board?
Well, the good thing is we do not have to wait much longer to actually see how this one's going to turn out. We're diving right into Bank and beginning our operator bans. Now, Bank is a map we've seen, I think, 3 times so far.
Right.
Mirage played it twice, and we actually saw XSET take Space Station here, and that one didn't go so well for them. So XSET, they've got a chance at getting some redemption for themselves.
22 on Gasher. Thank you, Drip. Appreciate it. So first ban out, we will see Zero taken off the board. That is actually a Dias Lucas op. Man is always on flank watch. He's either on Lion, he's on Zero, or he's on Nomad. So especially on Bank as well, you have the 4 Zero cams, the hard breach charges as well. You're going to take out a lot of really good utility there. XSET banning the Nook as well. This is a map that sees a lot higher Nook play than most other maps. We've seen SSG run it in their game against DZ. Well, we've seen SSG run it in general. This is a map where when Nook was first entering the play again, this is where she was typically seen the most.
Interesting to see XSET banning out that Nook when, it's something that we may have expected them to actually bring on to the table in terms of their operator selection. But you know what? I bet they just decided to not allow Beastcoast to have that weapon as well. As far as defensive bans go, we generally know what to expect on this map. The Valkyrie taken off the board first. Those black eye cameras provide so much intel to the defensive side. And, well, much like that, those black mirrors, the mirror windows that she brings into the table, really, especially on Bank. Been thinking about that locker's site downstairs, that CCTV server, critical point of contention from that attacking team. Having those mirror windows can stop, really freeze attacking teams in position. So taking her off the board, really smart, and will benefit both teams.
Yeah, I mean, BC have been banning Mirror, I think, 3 out of the 4 games in the NAL so far, so not surprised to go with that. And I actually really like that XSET Nook ban, because Nook just really fits BC's playstyle on attack. They're starting out on defense here, so I'm not going to see the attack for a little bit, but that righty style of play on both the attack and the defense, Nook is perfect for that. Here, though, we'll have to see what they go for on Bank. The issue with this map, not the easiest to hold side on. Even lockers, if you're able to roam and hold off the site for a while, you can delay the attack very efficiently, especially with players like Surf on the roster, who you can rely on to get a lot of kills before he ends up falling back or dying. That could stall out XSET really bad, and even in XSET Sonics game where they went 7-0, Sonics actually did a really good job at keeping the man count even, or even trading it to an advantage, and forcing XSET to make a big play very late in the round with not a lot of time left. So in this game, and especially on Bank, I'm looking on Beastcoast defenses to see if that roam work and see if they can delay enough time.
Well, already we are going to see a substantial roam come out here. You've got that information denial combination that both the Vigil and the Mozzie, in the hands of both Surf and Sweater respectively, bring out here. Of course, the Vigil dodging those drones and staying unnoticed, and Sweater actually capturing some of those drones and maybe gaining some intel for the defense to use. Right now, both of those players will be positioned on the top floor, waiting for the entry from XSET to begin. And speaking of, it looks like they have rappelled up on these CEO side windows and are looking to make their entry up above and force out these roamers as soon as they can.
I mean, that's the Bank special right there. The moment you go to clear out that top floor, you get 2 people on the rappel to start looking into Banana, looking into Trump. So makes perfect sense that that's what XSET's game plan is. And both Surf and Sweater will fall back very quick. Playing that position, especially with not a lot of utility, is a dangerous gambit for anybody on the defense. So honestly, smart for Surf and Sweater for cutting their losses early. And they can try to hold the middle floor if they want to, or even go down to the bottom floor. XSET tend to be a little bit slower on their attack, so I think it could work out.
Well, Sweater is hungry for a kill here. Doesn't want to give up his position too soon, but as he gets droned out, he will start to slowly back down those main stairs. Does not want to risk giving his life away early on. As you can see, the pressure from Gomez, the pressure from Kino continuing to build. Spirits and Yaga have already made their way to that first floor as well. Only one more, actually two more defenders to force out. Drip is the first player to fall, as Spirits will just catch the head of that player as he was crouch walking around the corner, and now Surf has to be careful. He's the next man in the line of sight.
Yeah, I was about to say, you definitely have to go back. Once XSET starts shooting, you got to be careful. But Gomez is going in very quickly to try to cut him off. Just barely misses Surf, dipping back into Garage. So unlucky timing there, but still getting away with a kill on the roam. Sure, a lot of time is gone, but this is the issue with that bank site. You can tend to get bogged down and get boxed in very easily. You can fall to nades super quick if you're just sitting in red or sitting in obvious positions. So XSET's utility here has got to be on point, and if it works, 1 or 2 kills could probably come before they even have to hit the site.
Well, they'll start with that utility uses, the exothermic charge on the elevator hatch to open that up and give potentially Gomez an opportunity to drop down when he sees fit. Kino will rotate over and get that second exothermic charge on that small office hatch to get another opening down into the red hall. Looking for options right now. That's what XSET are trying to do, establish as many openings on the site that they can.
Yeah, Anthony really is in a really big position here. Sweater too, actually. Now seeing that XSET are going for a late flank, if Sweater can survive here or even get a kill, that could be the round for Beastcoast. So if Sweater can hold down this position, and if Anthony not only does not die in red, but can waste enough time, those will be the two defining factors. And, well, it seems that the defense is working so far as a flurry of kills suddenly go in.
Yeah, here comes Sweater and Slash, though, will answer back nicely. And now Surf is going to come under heavy fire from Kino, who sprays him down. Diaz follows that one up onto Sweater, and it is all up to Slash. He's got the Alda and more than enough bullets to do this, but can he stop this plant in time? He'll go for the wide swing and lockers. The planter right in front of him. He takes him down. Only 4 seconds for Diaz to make the move, but he gets it done by spraying through the wall. That is well played at the last second. XSET stay alive and take the first.
I mean, it's kind of reminiscent of their Sonics game. Sure, it was a 7-0, but a lot of those rounds played out that way. Very hectic execute, struggling to get the bomb down or have the coverage necessary, and then somebody having to get a big kill, or clutch in this case, a 1v1, in order to make it work. Splash had the perfect position right there, and the coverage was not there for XSET, but they still end up winning it out, and sure, it might be a bit of a too close of a round, but they won a 7-0 off of rounds like that.
Well, a good start for XSET, as messy as it did get in the end, as you said, Carter. But it looks like Beastcoast are going to head back downstairs to try it again. They felt that they were pretty close, so they're actually going to be sticking with the identical defensive lineup. And as soon as XSET realized that, well, they're going to be attacking the same site again, I imagine we're going to see maybe a repick or two onto a similar selection. Because whatever they did, even as unorthodox as the Osa push through Garage may have been, it did work. So we're going to see Diaz, there it is, switching from the Hibana to the Osa, and actually Gomez heading over to the Nomad from the Yana, maybe hoping to cut off that roam and deal with it a little bit quicker than they were able to do last time.
Yeah, I actually really like Diaz picking that Osa because, you know, I literally mentioned about 3 minutes ago that Diaz Lucas ops, Nomad, Lion, Zero. He's been playing those ops since Challenger League, but seeing Gomez go there, it's not really that's the focus, but seeing Diaz Lucas on Osa can be a really good flank watch op. Like Border, for example, you put an Osa shield on East Stairs, that's half the map covered right here. Same thing can be said on Basement. You get Diaz Lucas to go down, put an Osa shield in Garage. He's making sure that nobody can play there in the late round, and if anybody rotates through, like Sweater or Surf, he can not only relay that intel, but also, well, maybe even deal with them if they get a little bit too aggressive. Beastcoast have already adapted perfectly here. They've immediately dropped down to that bottom floor once again, or holding that middle floor. I want to see how long they can hold this down, because it's only Surf. He's a little bit by himself right now, so I'm worried he could get pinched out pretty easily if the drone economy's on board.
Well, XSET will be starting this round about as slowly as they were last time. Right now, we do have Gomez kind of just in the top of square by himself right now, until finally Yaga will hit that rappel into CEO and eventually join him, wielding that skeleton key, giving himself a pretty quick rotate and an avenue to get over to top square and join his teammate. The rest of XSET, though, they're not entering into the top part of this map like they did last time. It's almost a half entry, while the rest are maybe looking to circumvent that a little bit and go a bit more direct. We already see Kino using these exothermic charges, and we might see a little bit of a CCTV push right off the bat.
This is also the benefit of the Osa. You put a shield down, probably not on the breach, but maybe watching it a little behind, like exactly where Diaz is pushing here. He's not the one with the diffuser. That's Kino within his pocket, but he can hold that very easily and, of course, get some fire in his face as well. This is the benefit of the Osa, not only for executes, but also for your flank watch having them. You can watch and make things like this. Problem, Jonah, it doesn't deal with Anthony lobbing fire grenades at you. They still need to deal with this red player if they want to make it work.
Oh my god, and they make it work just by finding some kills. Diaz behind the Osa shield somehow gets fried. Kino soon to fall after, and all of a sudden XSET are on the back foot here. Good kills there from both Sweater and Slash, stalling out this push and potentially crippling it for good. Gomez is going to have to make quite a play, but like you said, the fire from that Shumika launcher in Anthony's hands is going to be quite a pain to deal with. Spirits knows he needs to answer this, and a quick headshot onto Sweater will get half the job done.
The issue right here, if XSET want to keep going this direction, they have to bait out the Shumika grenades, but there's not a lot of time. They might have to go for a full rotate at this point. Ooh, that nade just barely misses. That could have been huge, but you can see they're all going to the hatch. They know this is going to be a difficult plant. They're trying to redefine their angles, but in the 30 seconds, they might just be committing.
Well, looks like Yaga's just going to go for it. Behind the Osa shield, the fire avoiding that position. No, but it's on him. He's still able to get this plant down. He's missing the fire, and that Osa shield was key for that protection. Gomez now getting lit up, but on the coverage picks up Surf anyway. Now a 2v3 XSET in the post plant. They've got a fighting chance here, but Spirits gets down by Anthony, and it is now all up to Yaga. He's got a shield to protect him, but 3 defenders staring at him and chasing him down. Somebody coming in from above to go for a bit of a flank, and Yaga now, well, through the fire and the flames, he's going to have to fall back into the waiting arms of that flanking defender. No longer has the HP to do this, but he's got to kill up above. Only 1 HP.
Wait a second.
Has 10 seconds, and, well, Beastcoast needs to stick this defuse. Yaga has the angle. He shuts him down. Anthony, he's out of time.
No.
The round's over. XSET win it regardless. Yaga will get the kill just for good, but, I mean, XSET take it again, but Beastcoast fumbling that one.
I really got to highlight that Osa play here. You all saw just how the impact it had. If that Osa shield isn't there, those Shumika grenades land. He was hitting them on point, but that Osa shield was enough to throw the lineups off that he had to adapt on the fly, and once you fire a couple fire grenades and you're focusing on other parts of the site, you can allow the bomb to go down in that situation, and you can't account for it until it's already happened. But Beastcoast did a really good job at still fending that off as a whole, getting aggressive in red, taking those fights early, not letting XSET get into the site for free, making sure they're bloodied once they go on in. But having that hatch open, Yaga able to go upstairs, that's just a situation where Beastcoast have to play for the retake, but the very option they can go for a flank, it's open right in front of them, and Yaga just played that perfectly despite the low HP he was at.
Well, 2 Lockers attempts back-to-back and 2 nail-biters, but XSET still able to take them both, and Beastcoast probably a little bit rattled after that one. Forced to now change it up, experiment, go to open area and break room or kitchen now to try to change it up. But the concept of this defense is going to be roughly the same. It's going to be about wasting time and extending to that top floor. However, it's not just a roam this time. It is going to be that firm extension. We can see Anthony setting up a substantial hold up above in paper. He's got a lot of reinforcements and some electro claws to support that position.
Yeah, a lot of reinforcements might be an understatement. 4/10 of the defense's reinforcement all went to closet for Anthony not only to have a shield, but Jonah, an electrified shield. I don't think I've actually seen that in quite a while. So, yeah, he has a lot of support, heavily trying to protect from that repel that we saw XSET try to go for earlier. So hopefully he'll be able to survive. But again, this is the thing that we see on Bank. You have to extend up top. You have to hold that top floor for as long as you can. Drip is also down below. Could play for the vertical. If anybody gets a little bit too aggressive, Yaga goes in for the repel. He could shoot them, but they've already accounted for that. Not only is he low, Kino gets the first one onto Sweater from the skylight.
Yeah, Kino opening things up, and Sweater getting too aggressive again. This is the second time we've seen this now. Of course, in round 2, he was able to get the opener and actually able to contribute in a substantial way. But other than the 2 kills he has found, well, he's going to be quiet for the remainder of round number 3. Now leaving a couple of these defenders, especially Anthony, on this top floor out to dry in a sense. He no longer has that support he could need.
Well, if you look at right now, XSET are quickly going in for... Okay, this is good. I was about to say XSET are quickly repositioning. Spirits going up long and 2 people vending to pinch out Anthony, but he falls back at exactly the right time and saves what probably could have been a 4v4 if XSET were continuing at the pace they were.
Well, it's a good decision, but it does mean that they will have that extra gun on the site that they need, but it does give that top floor control to XSET. And now with that skeleton key, Yaga, who's already found 4 frags so far, has the opportunity to hunt for more as he opens up a couple of avenues to work with up above.
Yeah, you can see that angle right there. He can basically see onto the reinforcement inside of open area. That is a very difficult angle to contend with the defense, and Slash is going to find his position very problematic because he's playing there to impact trick. Hopefully later on, once Kino goes to put those exothermics there, he could throw an impact over and destroy it. This angle from Yaga denies that perfectly. XSET will do a little bit of a rotation. See Spirits and Diaz both going to try and take Archives control. Still think that's a good play. You're going to put pressure onto the Maestro, and some shots already being exchanged.
Yeah, Spirits now, though, he's got some pings to work with, so he is just going to hold left click with that LMG and hunt for some frags. Unfortunately, not able to land that blow onto Slash, still at full HP, and repositioning out of Spirits' line of sight, but he wants more. The Toxic Smokes will slow him down for a moment, but it gives Surf the opportunity to actually step up and take down the Thermite, who we talked about could be so crucial in the execute phase of this round. Spirits now with a nade. Sending it through the sight, but ends up rebounding and taking himself down. Another explosive Surf that time, taking down Gomez, and XSET falling apart this time.
That is such. They had such a good setup, Jonah. It was going so well, but the nade on top of the C4. That is such a tragic ending to this.
Well, Diaz has a chance here. He might have spotted out the gun of the Maestro. Slash going for the swing, but winning the fight anyway. Yaga, stuck between a rock and a hard place, falls down to the basement and picks up a kill. But it simply doesn't matter. Stuck in a 1v3 and out of time. Beastcoast take the round.
I mean, Jonah, do I even need to say anything? That was so sad. I'm on the verge of tears right now. That was brutal. I mean, XSET had such a good setup, not only for the roam clear, they just had such a good reaction to what Beastcoast were doing. We see that they recognize that Anthony is heavily bunkered down inside a janitor. They say, okay, we'll have two people push from vending, one guy push up long, bam, that's dead. Anthony retreats like, okay, but as you said, they have the vertical, Yaga can open it up, they're chilling. They then rotate later on to try to put more pressure, allow Kino to open up the wall, and not only, sure it's a 4v4, but that nade in that C4, that was such a good setup, and to see it go to waste just because of, well, one, getting C4'd, but two, the misplay with the nade, I mean, that's just brutal.
Well, some things we're gonna have to talk about as this map develops is a couple of players in particular. One player especially on the side of Beastcoast who I feel like does not get enough credit for his performance this season is Surf.
Yeah.
Surf has had a top-rated performance on his team 3 out of the 4 games they played so far.
Yeah.
And 3 out of those 4 games as well, he has been double digits in terms of kills. He has been going insane, even in the games they've lost. 2-2 right now. He has been on fire. If he starts heating up, that is when XSET are going to get scared.
Well, here's the nice thing. Even if Surf isn't, let's say he's not getting kills. Let's say he has an off game. He only gets 9. Doesn't hit double digits, which would just be abysmal for Surf, of course. I'm joking, obviously. But Surf is still doing his job when he needs to. A lot of the impact he's having isn't necessarily with the kills. Just by sitting inside of open area, activating that ERC, delaying the time that it takes for XSET to be comfortable to go in and clear him out, he's having a lot of impact on this run. They might not be winning, but Beastcoast are still stalling a lot of time for these attacks for XSETs, and Surf is one of, if not the main player that is the culprit behind it. He's retaken position inside of open area, just like he has when Beastcoast have defended this site the past couple times. All the times they've done it, he's rotated down about halfway through the round, but it still takes XSET a while to get down, and well, as we saw during round 2, even when they go quick, Beastcoast still end up getting active and stalling out even more.
Right, and it's just a matter of time, I feel like, before Beastcoast and those last-second sight holds just get a little bit stronger, and XSET aren't able to do that. If Beastcoast can continue, like you said, to put Surf in those power positions and give him good roaming and good fragging and time-waste opportunities, eventually, you feel like it's got to pay off.
Well, as you can see right here, there's a couple players going in. This is what he's got to drop now. Oh, wait, no, Gomez actually going in for the nade, but, John, I'm worried both him and Spirits coming in. This could be the roam if he doesn't drop.
Well, Sweater has also backed off, but he knows that he could be in a position to support his teammate if he gets the chance. Gomez now hunting for that kill onto Sweater below. Looks like Sweater wants to take this fight, so he'll go for the swing, but mostly get punished for it. And the thing is, without a Thunderbird on the defense, XSET can heal up, and, well, Beastcoast can't.
Well, here we go. Oh, actually, I was going to say everyone's rotated back and is all safe and sound, but Slash is down. I'm not too sure where from. He's down inside of red. Oh, Spirits likely naded him from that position. Again, that's the worry with that red area. Can very easily find yourself with a nade at your feet before you can react in time. So hopefully we can see them adapt to that. He is in a position to get picked back up. You see Spirits going for the nade as well. Goes in deep, but doesn't miss much. But again, I'm looking at Anthony with these Shumika grenades right now all the way back from B site and drip as well to get active inside of red. They know that DS is going to go for this Osa play. They have the impacts to do it. They have the Yokais and the Shumika grenades. The utility is there to stop this, though. They lose one Yokai now, but all it's a matter of is hitting their shots and being at the right time.
Well, Beastcoast getting lit up, but look at Surf. He's prone at the bottom of main stairs. Does Spirits know this
What an
is the
angle, look at
question.
that.
He's hiding from those drones. That is what the Vigil can do after all. And Spirits will finally hear him sneak away, so he knows that that fight would have been dangerous. But XSET, they are about to go for this push. Diaz, the Osa, pushing in to protect his teammate from that fire, but it is going to go all the way in deep. That shield destroyed.
Yeah, if you want to look, he can't place the Osa shield down on the main breach, so he's got to go in late. This is a perfect stall that XSET's take.
Gomez gets a kill, and Kino does as well, opening up
Doesn't
the
matter.
opportunity for him to get the plant. But like you said, it does not matter. The fire is still there. Spirits gets another kill, though, but finally falls to Anthony. 9 seconds. Anthony with 3 fire grenades left. The question is, can Kino get this
get it.
down?
There it
No,
is.
he can't.
Oh.
The round over just in the nick of time, though. Yaga picks up the kill. Perfect use. You got to give it up
Yeah.
to Anthony for those fire grenades.
Yeah, that's the thing. While Beast Coast have been losing these basement defenses, you can't say they haven't been doing a solid job at making XSET fight for every single inch that they're going for. Those Shumika placements, them able to preempt that OSHA shield being placed on the breach and basically disrupt their entire take, even though they lost the round, what did it come down to? XSET going huge, getting those kills where they needed to, and that's why, I mean, that was my big reason why I was worried that XSET might win and why I was hesitant to go with BC, and it's clearly that's working today, but you can't say BC aren't putting up a hell of a fight when it comes to the late round.
I mean, every single round has been impossibly close. And
Anthony's been the GOAT on those Tachankas.
right? He's been key in terms of that supportive role. And XSET, I mean, this is the style we talked earlier about, and our analyst has highlighted that even when faced with what looks like an impossible situation, or even when the utility game isn't going their way, like against Sonics, right? Maybe a couple of hiccups with that utility game, they just say, you know what? Let's just send it. Let's
Gotta
just
go.
get kills. That they open up the scoreboard, they collect those frags, and all of a sudden, the round is going back in their favor.
And I know Kino talked about this in an interview. He's like, hey, listen, this is a team of friends. We're all happy together. We can all trust each other, get along with each other, and that sort of thing. And that kind of a team is what allows that play style to work. Because if you're going into your execute and you can't trust if DS Lucas or Gomez can step up, get those frags when the round is looking grim, you're not going to have a successful team. If XSET weren't that, they wouldn't be 3-1 right now. But they trust each other. They have that camaraderie. And that's why I think they're having a lot of success in that post round. They can trust that anybody can step up when the night is looking dark.
Well, I know at the beginning of that last round, I highlighted the potential that Surf brings to the side of Beastcoast, but after that performance from Yaga, especially with that clutch kill with what looked like triple zeros on the clock, we got to talk about him. Because another player in the entire NAL who is outperforming his team's standard in terms of the overall stat line, right? He is 4th overall in terms of all the stats, in terms of all the players. And when you have players like Vertical and Laxing and Foxay and Newers up at the top of that leaderboard.
High company.
High company, exactly. High standards to be up there, and he is hanging in. He's, again, putting up incredible numbers right now. I mean, going 7-1. Are you kidding me? This is the kind of performance that XSET not necessarily need to rely on, but that they've been working with over the last 2 Playdays, and that has been gifting them these wins.
Now, but in talks about getting these wins for Beast Coast in the round, this is going to be a very difficult one because the biggest thing that we've emphasized so far, we've talked about it repeatedly, has been Beast Coast site play and the utility around it. Able to maybe not even win rounds, but keep it close until the very last seconds and then almost squeeze out a win, become short. This is not a site you can really do that on. Once the attack opens these windows and opens the breach and goes in for the plant, it's very difficult. And the problem with this site, let's say there's not a lot of places to sit. Let's say you want to play for the retake, you can't really do that. The attack is in such a ready-made position to already get in a great spot to put the bomb down. Beast Coast can't rely on that site play fully to do the work that it did on, say, basement.
It's going to be all about just denying the entry. If you let the plant go down,
works.
all of your options start to fall away. Exactly. If Sweater can keep doing this and shutting down Kino before he can walk into the building, I mean, perfect. You'll be in a good spot.
Yeah, that's about the only kind of thing that really works. Utility, maybe not as much. Sweater's got to get aggressive on these angles, though Gomez is trying to make sure that doesn't survive for long. Ooh, but look at that.
Gomez, yeah, gets caught out from behind by Anthony, who just was sitting there in the elevator. I don't think Gomez had any idea. So Spirits, he knows he needs to get something back, but these well-placed castle barricades are going to make it hard for him to actually find those kills he's looking for. He spots out one in paper, and as Strip tries to fade away down the hatch, Spirits gets it.
Wow, excellent kill by Spirits right there. But overall, Beast Coast are doing a great job at stopping what XSET do best. When they're struggling to get in the site, They just hop in and try to go for those kills. But DS Lucas holding an elevator. Okay, Spirits is just in, I guess. I mean, this is the XSET special right here. Connor said it earlier. Spirits hit the Finka button, and now he's just in.
But he is in by himself. Both of his teammates are nowhere to be found. Finally, they're joining him from main lobby. And like you said, yes, it is working.
Why not?
Shockingly, Slash and Surf are now the only 2 defenders left alive. He hits a great shot, mind you, onto Yaga with the SMG-11. But now at low HP, Spirits with an LMG and 2 Finka boosts remaining. They have to fight against him and Diaz.
Yeah, that's the issue right here, because Spirits is still just slowly moving up long haul, separated from DS right now. But if he can get this kill onto Slash inside a closet, this could be big. Or even the one. Either of these kills could be huge for their chance of the round. And bam,
there it is! He gets the triple kill and a beautiful headshot onto Surf. Slash, the last man alive, sitting around the corner, and Diaz closes and cleans him up. Probably the weirdest attacking round we have seen from XSET so far. It was Spirits just in the middle of the site, kind of just hanging out, while his teammates were working their way in from elsewhere, but it worked.
Yeah, well, see, Jonah, the normal way teams go about that site, you know, you get the attackers on rappel, go to open up the breach, you go from there, try to put the bomb down, hop out on the rappel, and everything is hunky-dory. Except, not only that, what we ended up seeing was, well, Sweater get aggressive, take down one of the players on rappel, and Beastcoast were actually pretty heavily, or not heavily contesting, but holding on to square for a good portion of that, so XSET were like, crap, okay, do our normal play. I guess we'll just send Spirits in to kill people. And it came close. That's sometimes the risk with that strategy. The defense is shooting back, and you're basing your entire thing off gunfights. It could be 50-50 which way it goes. But XSET are able to win it there in large part just by Spirits and DS being in really good positions when it came to that late round.
Well, Beastcoast, they are now desperate to find a bomb site that works
something, man,
for them. I mean, they did win last time they were here on open area in Kitchen, and it was probably the most, I'd say, the biggest margin between the winning team and the losing team, because XSET ended up blowing up themselves with a nade, and then they got C4'd, and Beastcoast did a pretty good job of maintaining some vertical pressure while XSET worked their way in above. They just have to find a way to do that again. We're not seeing the same setup upstairs, though, and we're seeing a pretty substantial change. No longer are the 4 reinforcements on that closet wall. In fact, Anthony isn't even playing up top.
I honestly think the 4 reinforcements, I think that's a really good change, because as we saw, it didn't end up panning out. He was able to hop back, but you're boxing Anthony in a really difficult position, and if XSET can get in the correct spots early on, Anthony's not long for this world. So I actually really like that change from Beastcoast. Sure, they might not be contesting the top floor, they might be giving that vertical play, but as you said, we saw that Beastcoast were able to deal with that. Well, they got a C4 kill, and then somebody naded themselves, but that's, you know, beside the point. Beastcoast was still able to effectively deal with that vertical, but look at this. Sweater getting very aggressive early on, but it's just some shots exchanged, nothing directive either way.
Yeah, Sweater, again, getting aggressive, desperate for early fights, and unfortunately for him, those early fights have not gone his way. When he has, of course, been able to apply that vertical pressure, XSET are forced to slow down, and it really does give Beastcoast, I mean, definitely a much greater fighting chance in the round. But right now, again, he's forced to fall back. XSET upstairs.
And of course, as you can see, as Yaga's going to open up this floor, Beastcoast, you have to think, okay, what are they going to do to start responding to this? They have the site wall electrified, so they can hold off that pressure for a while. But in terms of the vertical play, they don't have a lot to deal with it. All they've got is 1 C4 from Surf, and if that misses, XSET basically have full dominion on the top floor unless defenders want to start swinging, which, to be fair, they could do. I'm sure Beastcoast would be more than happy to take some of the gunfights with the players on the top floor, but it's a bit of a risky strategy.
And that C4, we just heard it explode, and it missed completely. So that's not going to get much. It's going to have to be the old-fashioned way with a couple of bullets and a couple of well-timed gunfights. The first one goes the way of XSET, as Gomez will clean up Sweater, taking down that hyper-aggressive player we've been talking about. Now it is Slash who comes under fire.
Another really good adaptation, if you saw, they've now reinforced the wall next to Splash, so he can play close, and I don't think you can actually see that from the angle Yaga opened up last time, so he can successfully impact trick and almost destroy that exothermic, but I think it actually went off. Oh no! That's a major miss by the Maestro and a big opening for XSET.
And here they come to take this opening and seize the day. They're going to push on through. Slash still gets one. Yaga answers that one back onto Drip, and Surf responds, dropping that diffuser down. We're back into 3v3. 40 seconds is still ample time for XSET to work with here, but they've got to recover this diffuser.
Yeah, but Slash is watching it right now. This is really good for Beastcoast. They can play the Anthony / Crossfire, and XSET can't go with it. They might just have to go for the kills, honestly, Jonah.
And here they go. Diaz picks up the first, taking down Surf. Gomez on the swing. Goodbye, Slash. All up to Anthony now. He gets one and just picks it up in the end, but it is XSET who takes another round and completes what was a dominant, albeit close, in each round, half. 5-1 the overall split on Bank. It is looking XSET all day.
And I mean, as you and I were talking before this went live, Bank actually in the NAL right now, not very defender-sided, but still a lot more defender-sided for, it being Bank, which was at one point one of the most attacker-sided maps we had in the pool. Obviously, for Coastline, but, that's not here anymore. So Bank was the, attacker heyday for a bit. And I think this is a lot more representative of how Bank actually is. It is very uncomfortable to defend. Like on Basement, if your site play isn't on point, you can feel suffocated. And on the other sites, if you have a team like XSET, who are really good at working and getting their fraggers, or even their support players who could basically be fraggers when need be, into position and getting those kills, you can win a round that seems unwinnable. Like right there, Breach is open. You have players watching the diffuser, but they get all 3 kills anyway, and it doesn't matter. That's what XSET brings to the table, and that's why they got a 5-1 half, well, among other reasons, but that being one of them first and foremost.
I mean, coming into this, we had a lot of questions. Were those 2 dominant victories? Was the 14-1 split in week 2 just a fluke? And was it something XSET could replicate? It is, although we are still a couple of rounds from finishing this one out, and Beastcoast could absolutely make an attacking comeback here. Well, it looks like XSET have truly found what looks like to be a new roster that is clicking, that is vibing, and is looking really, really good while doing it. Like Kino said, their true potential realized. Well, we're seeing it here in week 3, that is for sure.
And if you look at everyone performing right now, Kino, who, if he has 29 kills in the league right now, 15 of those came from one game. He's actually the bottom performer right now. And oh no, he's on hard support. That's the worst thing. But everyone else on XSET is showing up in this game. Worst beside Kino is Gomez going even. And if one player's going even, the rest are doing their jobs. This is exactly the spot that XSET wants to be, and exactly what should be the culmination of the Playdays up until this point. Of course, they've started their defense on open area, and they might succumb to some of the problems that we saw Beastcoast deal with on their defenses. Vertical play being established very early on. If Beastcoast can manage it, is something that XSET are going to have to worry about going forward, unless Spirits and Yaga can do their jobs when it comes to pressuring anybody entering this top floor. DS Lucas as well.
Well, Spirit's actually the first one to take damage, and there, on cue, finished off by Surf, who is really looking to start to put up some more of those entry numbers. Been struggling so far. Well, as I say that, one of his teammates will go down. It is Slash on the IQ, who will no longer have access to that valuable gadget when it comes to this execute. Yaga dropping down, but into the waiting arms of Sweater.
Yeah, just really good positioning by Sweater right there. Knows that Yaga's going to have to drop back down eventually. Just right there, the exact right time. Yaga's already been half in the grave at that point. Good finish off by Sweater. Now Beastcoast have that opportunity to get that vertical. They can have somebody on blue stairs as well to make sure nobody gets aggressive or starts flanking outside of the site. This is a really solid setup for Beastcoast so far to go moving, and now it's incumbent on XSET, who only have, again, we mentioned the C4s, only have one C4 in their pocket. If the vertical starts happening, they got to be careful to use that utility right.
And look what's happened here. XSET, those 3 defenders, they are now pinned in open area itself. They're no longer maintaining any active position in kitchen, which of course is fine. You can go for a retake. You've got those smokes, and you still have a C4, but dangerous if Beastcoast see that and sees that opportunity.
Yeah, because right here, you can still see the 2 mute jammers on the wall. If Beastcoast are able to open that up fairly quickly, if it's not really much of a problem for them to open up, they have that Maverick. They can just cut right through it. If they can play this breach a lot more effectively, open up an even bigger hole than XSET did on their attacks, this could be very problematic for the site players, especially, again, if that wall is opened up, they can play the angles off of it, and Sweater adding an additional dimension to that with the nade kill. This is looking at a good setup for Beastcoast if they can take hold of it.
Well, Gomez getting a bit too aggressive there, worried about more nades coming his way, so he takes the fight and dies. Surf now dropping down the hatch and sending it in, but Diaz takes him down, no problem. Still Kino and Diaz to hold down this site, but Beastcoast with 15 seconds, they are about to go for this push. It is Anthony at the helm, Drip right with him. Sweater from the other side, that valuable position finally dealt with, but Anthony, he follows up with a key frag onto Kino. It is all up to Diaz now, bomb going down. He gets one, C4 on the planter, he's got it. It just misses though. Plant is able to go down by Drip. It's just a pre-fire battle, and a quad kill for Diaz is the thing that finishes it out. But again, XSET taking it to the last possible second, as close as it could possibly be, but somehow winning the round.
Yeah, what have we been saying this entire game? They might be slow to get there. They might struggle a lot for 230, 240, 250 of the entire round. But XSET can always rely on Kino, on Yaga, somebody, one of the 5 players on this roster, to go huge and clutch it out in the end. I thought that C4 was going to hit, and I'm not going to lie, when it missed, I was scared. I thought, like, oh, this is the round. I mean, it's still 5-1 XSET, so it's not the biggest thing. but DS is still able to go big with that kill. And overall, really good job for XSET. As you mentioned, they were pinned down. Very difficult to make that work, even playing for the retake, but the fact that they're able to get aggressive and win those fights, and especially taking down Sweater at the back and Surf while giving one to them, just overall excellent side play by XSET.
It really did look like a perfect storm for Beastcoast. I mean, they had Sweater in what looked like to be just a perfect position to cut off any XSET rotations, to apply pressure from the other side, and make sure that even while some of the attack was, happening in break room, and that was the focus, that he could apply some active pressure, freeze XSET in those spots, and we saw how effective it was, at least against Gomez, who got so nervous in that situation, he ended up going for the swing and just losing his life.
Yeah. We'll see a couple attacker repicks here, something that Beastcoast has really overall dealt with and adjusted to very well in the NAL so far. They'll bring out two different operators. We see the Sledge and the Buck, two different sources of soft destruction coming through for Beastcoast going into this attack. But then again, the thing that I want to look at and want to see what happens, how can they deal with Spirits on this roam? Is he going to get pushed back? Are they going to go for the kill? He's playing by himself right now, so that's something they do need to be careful about. Beastcoast moving quick. Spirits could find himself dead pretty soon, but he's got the hatch open behind him, so that is a good thing to see. Beastcoast, are starting out about where we would expect them to. How we saw XSET doing round number 1, starting out on that rappel, going in from the north side to the south side, starting it there. And what do you know? Gomez is in the position you would expect, playing down below, waiting for someone to get sloppy and rappel in. Will Slash give it to him? That's to be decided.
Yeah, Slash, of course, with that IQ gadget, can preemptively identify what exactly utility is standing in his way on the other side, but doesn't exactly know if Gomez is sitting down below. Like you said, Spirits looks like they're going to decide to actually force him out. It will be Surf up above who chokes him out, forced to relocate, fire coming from, several different directions, and it is, Surf who actually ends up getting that kill. So once again, impactful entry from Surf will be key if Beastcoast want to make a comeback.
And again, that's something that Beastcoast did very well last round, specifically Yaga in literally that exact same position. So not very surprising that they're able to take down Spirits. Still unlucky for the Vigil. Now they'll start making progress on that bottom floor. But you can see someone moving in right here on the middle floor. Sweater trying to contend with them, but boom! What a shot from Gomez to even things up.
Wow, Gomez making it look easy, taking down Sweater, and the Finka to be lost so early. That is going to be detrimental to the Beastcoast aggression, that blitz-style play that they're likely to go to the end of this round, not able to do so anymore.
But still, Gomez being on the top floor as well, this is still something that Beastcoast will have to deal with, because if they get sloppy, they don't go looking for that Warden, he could still make a big play, unless he retreats early on, which is looking like he will. Yep, they'll spot him. He's going back down towards the side. Probably the good play. He's got that C4, and especially those Warden glasses. There might not be any smokes or flashes on the board, but hey, better safe than sorry in case a concussion starts flying in. So we'll see how impactful he is. He might just be holding a long angle as well. One worry though, Jonah, Beastcoast, they might have a lot of drones, but not a lot of time going forward. They have still plenty of nades and plenty of soft destruction, but we're reaching 40 seconds left, and they are now congregating outside of server. They've given a lot of time for XSET to set up as well, and to use these smokes going into the late round on top of the 2 C4s they still have as well.
Yeah, if Kino can play this right, he should be sitting in a pretty good spot to waste the remainder of this clock. Like you said, 2 C4s, one in the hand of Gomez, one in the hand of Diaz, that can decimate this push before it really gets underway. You can see that first toxic smoke finally dissipating. Kino readying to throw the second, but same thing goes for Beastcoast. They are ready and eager to push on in. Again, though, choked out by the smoke. Only 20 seconds remain. Drip, you can see him antsy. He's eager. He wants to get this push going. He's also waiting for that support from his team, though. These other 2 attackers finally dropping down and getting aggressive. Kino and Surf will go 1 for 1 after Surf picked up the first. Drip goes all the way in to get this plant down, but Gomez, good C4 to deny Slash, all up to Kino. Shotgun in hand, he gets 1, but it is Anthony on the coverage to finish the round out. Another close one, but Beastcoast staying patient and making a smart decision to push all the way into the site rather than planting default.
Yeah, Drip going in, planting behind that bomb chassis was huge. Though the C4 very narrowly hit him, it just managed to be around the corner of that bomb chassis. I honestly thought Drip was going to die, but it came just a little bit too short, unfortunately. Got his coverage, though. So, hey, you got your 1 with that utility. But yeah, that was a really smart decision by Drip to push in deeper into the site, try to catch them off guard, and overall just not get stuck on that smoke as more time was being wasted. We'll see XSET now go back down to the attack, and I'm wanting to see again what adjustments Beastcoast are going to make on their attack. Are they going to go with the Buck and the Sledge combo again? Are they going to try to bring more nades? Because that's something they were lacking. They're bringing the IQ and they're bringing the Zofia. They've got useful utility, but their secondaries, breach charges. Not a lot you can do. And on the side for XSET, while Beastcoast ended up winning it out, it was very close going forward, and you still had players in red and still players on blue doorway who could get active. So I hope we see them maybe bring a little bit more utility with the nades, or even if they don't, maybe just put a little bit more focus on that area to make it a lot cleaner.
Well, I think this time we're going to see a different type of defense here from XSET, at least more of a substantial and intentional extension. Bringing out the castle again from Yaga. We saw him setting up some of those barricades on that first floor rather than just reserving them for the basement. And in addition, of course, you have Spirits again hunting up above on that roam. He was forced out effectively by Beastcoast last time pretty early. That was really what started out a very successful Beastcoast attack. Map control was really the theme of that round. They took that control and, well, they did exactly what they're supposed to do with it.
Yeah.
They built up for that execute and they sent it in.
Again, I want in the early round, I'm looking at Spirits. I'm looking at Gomez right here. Both in these positions. I highlighted them last time. Gomez below the rappel. Spirits being, well, the only one on the top floor. If you're looking at the top floor, only one you can really look at. We'll see what they're able to do. Spirits playing in a different position, this time inside of Janitor. He doesn't have the ready-made avenue for exit like he had an elevator. This might be a bit more of a secure position. Of course, he doesn't have those reinforcements. He's got to be worried about bullets through the wall. But also, as you can see, Surf may be coming from the back. I don't know if XSET have intel in that position yet, but Spirits, this is the one issue. He only has one impact grenade to get out, but if Beastcoast get in the position, he might not be long for this world.
Well, Surf, you see him just looking for the drone hole, spotting out his feet. I think a bullet or two will land there onto Spirits. He knows he's trapped, and he's got to get aggressive. C4 to try to support him will light up Surf, but not finish him off. Now Yaga is actually the one to come to that top floor to give his teammates some support, and with that, Spirits has a chance to drop away, but he is still cut down by Drip. No matter what, Drip will collect that kill, and Spirits is again the opening death, losing another body for XSET. It is Gomez and Kino to follow those deaths up. Drip and Sweater going nuts and taking some more kills.
This is a very difficult spot for Yaga and Diaz, but especially Yaga right now. He's got to make a decision. 5v2, playing site in a 5v2 with 120 left on the clock. Yeah, that's a losing strategy, to be entirely honest with you, but he'll make the decision. Do I want to drop down? Do I want to get aggressive? But he's droned out, not much he can do, so he'll drop back, but honestly, might be terrible, because if you take a look at Beast Coast drones, only 3 left before they go in for the execute, and Yaga could get aggressive again, maybe go behind and pull up this flank, and that is just what XSET needs to win this 7-2, but it's a long way to go.
Yeah, they need this aggression desperately, because at this point, you play this one back in ordinary, and, well, you're not going to be able to do much other than sit and get overwhelmed on the site. Diaz, though, he will take this fight the old-fashioned way, behind the deployable shield, waiting to get something going.
Yeah, the one thing I got to worry about here, too, Sweater with those 2 nades. Of course, Yaga and Diaz need to get aggressive, but with no utility, no smokes, no C4 to deny this plant, they have to take fights, and Beast Coast have the positioning to do it, and you can see that Beast Coast aren't giving opportunities for kills.
Yeah, no C4 in Diaz's hands, so he has no option to deny the plant. Drip sticking this and getting it down successfully. Yaga will pick up a kill in the meantime onto Surf, but truthfully, it doesn't mean much, because now it is a post-plant. Beast Coast setting up on the hatches up above, and Yaga and Diaz are very limited in what they can do here. Diaz will fall. Great kill there from Sweater. He now knows exactly where Yaga is positioned, and, well, he should have no trouble cleaning him up either. Yaga now knows he is stuck between a rock and a hard place, stunned as well. Nades being sent towards his position and forced to fall back rather than advance, which is what he desperately needs to do. With 10 seconds left to actually get on this diffuser, he is simply out of time and out of options. He's not even going to bother, really. He's just going to sit back, wait for the time to expire, and, well, give Beast Coast a well-earned round.
Yeah. And Beast Coast definitely well-earned round defines both those. Good IGL decision by Drip in round number 8, and then here in round number 9, just a very solid clear. Spirits not having the impact on the realm he's wanting, mostly because he's the first to dead, and there's really no trades coming out by XSET. That much is fairly obvious. So if they go back to basement, maybe if they want to do that realm up top, if you really want to do it, if you really want to dedicate to it, give some help to Spirits. Give somebody else up there, or give him some more utility if you want him to hold it there more often, or maybe just have him play on the first floor the entire time, like we saw Beast Coast do. To, again, when it came to wasting time, a lot of success. Obviously, they didn't end up winning the rounds, but in terms of that strategy and what it sought to do, it worked out very well. This time, they'll just switch sites, they'll go straight down to open area, and maybe if they want to go for a roam, this will be a little bit easier. Since you're just 1 floor below, if you want to put Spirits inside of, say, Trump or Banana, for example, it's a lot easier to, 1, have some support from, say, Gomez or Yaga, but also have some support with those C4s, like, again, we saw Beast Coast employ very well on their defenses.
Well, 2 rounds into what could be a miraculous comeback from Beast Coast, down 6-1, and they still need 3 more rounds. It did feel, at least 2 rounds ago, like a matter of time before XSET was going to close this one out. They had all the confidence, all the momentum, and they put themselves on match point pretty early, but Beast Coast have since stopped the bleeding. They've gathered some momentum of their own, and they found something that works on the attacking side. They found a pretty cohesive roam clear. They did a great job of taking early map control, and they've done a good job of limiting XSET's options as well. Something we've talked about is that XSET, when you give them that option to flip that switch and start fragging out, they can. If you prevent that option, though, by getting these kills one at a time and preventing XSET from getting those trades, even having the opportunity for those trades, Beastcoast are setting them up pretty well.
And this is a good opportunity. I mean, this is what XSET are running with right now on Bank. This is still fairly reminiscent to what they did all the way back in week 1 for SSG. I mean, specifically Spirits' position playing right there. I mean, it's a very common position, but Beastcoast have done their homework. If they've looked, they can probably readily anticipate that once they see this is open area, Spirits is probably going to be playing in this area. He'll probably have some support from Yaga, maybe DS as well. I'm not sure which one they might be looking for. So Beastcoast, it shouldn't be too difficult to adjust to what XSET are putting in front of them. Well, might be difficult in terms of, well, dealing with 3 roamers as opposed to just 1, but in terms of anticipating this, it might not be as problematic, but then again, anticipating is one thing. Executing it, entirely another thing, and Beastcoast really have not progressed that much in the first minute, beyond, I will say, just getting some necessary intelligence.
Right, that intel, again, impactful, especially when it comes to dealing with these top-floor defenders. Spirits is one of them, and the intel enables them to get a nade towards his position. Unfortunately for Beastcoast, though, it won't do much more than about, well, 5-10 HP worth of damage. He will now get into a skirmish with one of those players on the rappel, but Spirits, having, well, died opening death in the 2 previous rounds, will likely be a little bit wary about taking any early gunfights.
Surf moving in right now. Spirits has an exact angle on this position. Will Surf bite? Will he push forward? Will Spirits take the initiative instead, take the fight instead? But overall, the roam for XSET has been doing excellent right now. Ooh, Spirits taking a lot of shots through the wall. Bam! That's what we needed to see. Spirits, when he is in this position and the frags are given to him, he can take that opportunity and run with it.
Wow, Spirits, that is quite a shot because, I mean, Surf was holding that angle for what felt like a minute and a half. Spirits still able to win that fight and now still alive, pestering this Beastcoast attack as they try desperately to enter into this top floor. Drip, trying to shortcut this, has some pings on Gomez, the player tucked in archives, and he will fall. Well, the Gone 6 not able to finish him off.
Unlucky.
Anthony will have to wait another moment before securing this kill, but Gomez is as good as dead.
But Beastcoast don't have a lot of time right now. They're in good positions, and hey, they have the man advantage as well. That's exactly what we want to see. Archives control, but Drip has to open this wall and actually start making progress when it comes to getting that bomb down and pushing through the breach. We've seen when XSET got match point on this site as well, how long they can hold out and how well they can clutch if you've given that chance. They have a smoke, they have a C4, and Beastcoast are taking a lot of time. They've got to be careful moving in because XSET, you talked about if they get an opportunity, they have one right now.
Well, here they come, already deciding to send this one in. You do have a rotation over to that open area window from Drip, and this could be the play that opens things up. Unfortunately, exposing his position with the alibi hologram. Don't usually see that utility work, but now Kino, he feels comfortable to hold this
flank.
side. The flank from Naga is there, and XSET in round 10 finally closed it out. It was a dominant performance against Beastcoast for the most part. It was round by round. It was clutch by clutch. It was incredibly close every single time, but XSET, they prevailed. They simply looked like the better team today.
Absolutely, and again, I mentioned before how in my, when I was looking at the games, it was this and SSG OXG that I really did not fully know how I felt, how I wanted to go, who would end up taking it out in the end, and I feel there were 2 possible scenarios. Are XSET going to disrespect Beastcoast more? They're going to get more aggressive? Are they going to get more in their faces or hold out into the late round? Or are Beastcoast going to do it? And I think today we answered the question. It was XSET. Even though the Roams might not have held out as long as they wanted to on the defense, when it came to pushing them back on the attack, they might have taken a while, but it was, again, those late rounds that were the difference maker for XSET in the end. Winning rounds that were decided by matters of seconds and by one singular body. And XSET were the team today that were able to take those situations and make them victories more so than Beastcoast could.
And they did a great job of shutting down some of these weapons on the side of Beastcoast that we talked about coming into tonight. We talked about Sweater being shut down. We talked about Surf especially being shut down. He was effective on the entry, especially on that attacking side, but where he struggled was defense, and XSET on the attack, that is where they picked up the majority of their rounds.
Yeah, and again, you saw on defense as well, it's not like Beastcoast didn't have good opportunities and didn't have good things to say. They held out very long under the site pressure. They were very good at clearing out the roam, but I think, and maybe the desk will echo this as well, this was very much a game of the little things, and even though it was a 7-3 scoreline, even though it might seem one-sided for XSET, like these previous games have been, I still think it came down to being decided by a couple small moments that, well, once you have enough small moments, they turn into a big result.
Well, XSET solidifying themselves in that top 4 at a very important point in the stage, right at that middle point.
Yeah.
Now going into that second half, really solidifying that they deserve that top 4 spot. But we've, of course, got to let our analyst desk hash this one out. We'll let them do that after a quick break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Just another sunny day in Southern California. It's where the people came to play. Don't let them transform you. Oh, come and see what you've been missing.
Out of the past 3 games they've played, somehow this new XSET lineup has only lost 4 rounds, and that continues again today with a 7-3 victory over Beastcoast. And we've got Spirits on the line before we get to the analyst desk to tell us how this thing actually came to pass. Because for the love of God, it looks as though this team is just speed running through everybody. Spirits, congratulations on the win. How in the world? You guys have won 17 out of the 18 attacks that you've played over the last 3 games. How have you managed to do this so quickly?
I mean, we had a slow start at the beginning. We didn't have really an ideal, so I took over the role, and since then we've been doing amazing.
Yeah, Spirits, I want to pick your brain a little bit here because I think you're one of the great LMG players that the NAL has right now. So for some of the viewers out there who maybe are still struggling with the weapon or aren't really finding the same success that you are, what tips do you have, what tricks do you have to help players playing around the Finca and using those LMGs?
Just shoot to shoot. If you have what, 300 bullets? You have 300 bullets, so one's gonna land. It's the easiest way.
Fair enough.
Alrighty, so Zach, naturally, we know where you came from, Parabellum. That's where What is the biggest difference between the roster that you currently have at XSET and overall what you felt at Parabellum?
Excuse me, I can barely hear you.
He was asking what the difference between playing on Parabellum versus playing on XSET has been.
I mean, playing on Parabellum, I was just doing my own things. I was being told what to do. But now on XSET, I have my vision, and I share my vision to my team. So I have a lot to do, and I like it better. So I'm more I have to speak more. I have to everything I want to do is being done, and it's working out very well so far. So.
Yeah, obviously
I like
everyone
it better
has
here.
different expectations for when they come into a new stage and what they're supposed to do, especially with you guys having 5 new players and a new coach. But so far, because of this streak of wins that you've had, is this kind of where you expected to be, or are you kind of ahead of the curve, so to speak? It's almost like you're getting further ahead than you expected this early.
Well, we have high expectation on the team, and like I said, we had a slow start, but I think now we're figuring out we have figured out what we needed to do and what we to be where we are right now. Because right now I think we're top 4, and we expect that to be around that top 5, top 4.
Spirits, I gotta pick your brain a little bit because you are now a French Canadian living in Vegas with a house full of Brazilians. How does this dynamic work when you guys are behind the scenes hanging out? Is there like just a ton of Portuguese going on that you can't understand, or what's the vibes like?
Well, there's technically like 5 Portuguese on the team, so when they are together, they speak in Portuguese, and I can understand it a little bit, but I cannot like speak it.
Right,
So,
right.
No, it's fun. It's fun. Everything is amazing.
Well, thanks a lot, Spirits. Congratulations again on the win. That makes the 3rd one in a row for this XSET core, and now we're starting to talk about some top 4 connotations for the future. So go celebrate this one. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully.
Thank you.
All right, Spirits from XSET giving us a little bit of an insight. I don't understand how he survives with that many Brazilians in the same house either. I honestly didn't even know Vivas was like there with them physically, which is honestly really cool to have everybody all in one space at the same time. Finally, it looks as though XSET have something like solid underneath them, which for the longest time they weren't able to say.
Yeah, I mean, I know that like the American and the Canadian on that roster were learning some Portuguese. Obviously, it takes a long time to get like fluent with a language, and I don't know sort of what the goal is with that.
Yeah.
But it's nice at least if you can understand some things, if you can kind of like be in on the conversations, because it can be a little sad sometimes. If you're
It's working really well. Where there's no like
in the
actual
server,
context of there's nothing that seems like it's disjointed. They've again won 17 out of 18 attacks over their past 3 games, and they've only lost 4 rounds. And it seems like for some of these halves, they're trying to set land speed records of how fast these games can end. And so far, it doesn't seem like anyone's really slowing down.
No, and as we take a look at the stats here, Jacob, you see it loud and clear. Yaga leading the pack, 12 and 6, 2.0 KD ratio coming through. Even those players on the bottom of the scoreboard, Kino and Gomez, felt like they were having a huge impact still throughout this match. You see those 2-2 opening engagements from Kino. He was having a big impact there in the early rounds, despite, as we know him as, being a support.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things was, especially on the side of Beastcoast, was there were a couple of times that maybe Slash, especially in those early defensive rounds, could have completely changed the fundamental of this game. And then you have to think, where's the other parallel reality that maybe Beastcoast won this game 7-2 or something like that. But the one that we live in right now has everybody on the side of XSET firing on all cylinders and looking great.
What do you think the future right now for this XSET roster is? I feel like touching on Beast Coast failures is something we probably could do all day. It feels like a lot of this felt like rehashing of not being able to finish rounds, a lot of the same things that we saw from that game against Oxygen. But for this XSET squad, now it's 3 wins against different tiers of opponents technically, and they've all been these like drastic like this. If we see this kind of XSET show up against like a TSM later down the road, or heaven forbid if they had another game against Space Station that went like this, what are we thinking this XSET team can do?
I mean, their next game is Mirage. I think we're all probably going to pick them to win that one. We'll see how Mirage play today. Maybe
The coin might not. Actually, wait. The coin picked Beast Coast.
Yeah, the coin was wrong.
Continuing to douse that thing in lighter fluid. I'm so happy about that. But no, I think it's one thing to watch this XSET team, and another to actually break down how the heck they were able to get this one under their belt. So we're looking at round 2 most specifically. Yaga had a fantastic post plant on the hatch when they were playing in basement. What specifically about this place caught your eye, Jesse?
So, I mean, this post plant was so well done. Yaga's going to get the kit down, Spirit's there in sight, and Gomez is upstairs, I do believe. No, he's in sight, dropping down. Does get a frag, and it's going to end up being a 1v3 for Yaga. Note the Osa shield placement, not the traditional one. They had an Osa shield placement over deeper on the east side, but it did get impact tricked away. You see Beast Coast bringing 6 impact nades. Yaga sticks around the shield for a little bit. It is a strong position, but as soon as that fires there, he's in trouble. No follow-up from Beast Coast. There needs to be somebody catching him as he runs back. This is a bit of an embarrassing one for Slash, not looking the right direction. He should have known where the player was at, maybe just looking for drones or something to see if he was getting caught out on that flank. And then just the angle of the foot. Drip gets shot down from Yaga. He played that 1v3 fantastically, but it was really interesting the way they incorporated those Osa plays, still got the kit down, and the Tachanka play just not quite there.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the Tachanka fires. You have something as opposed to the Vulcan fires, where you pop those little canisters and you roast alive. And stark comparison to what you have with the Tachanka fire is, if you are sticking a plant and all of a sudden the Shumika comes in at your feet, you can finish it and only take about 40% damage.
Final thoughts about this game, gentlemen? Anything that we want to get off our plates before we move on to game 2?
I think XSET just continue to dominate on their attacks. I mean, they look so clean. They look so smooth. It feels like the site executes. They've got the perfect timings, the perfect drones. Obviously, those first couple of rounds, I felt like Beast Coast could have stolen away, but just not quite there. And it's looking really good for XSET.
Yeah, and still with Beastcoast, there are just those little tiny things where you can say, hey, if they tweak these, they can look good. We've seen them have strengths before. In like that first game on Border against Parabellum, that was a scary looking team. Even all the way through the first half of the Dark Zero game on Villa, where I thought they were about to run away with it. Sure, maybe, just maybe, a little bit of the tendencies and the overall play styles of Beastcoast is getting found out. And if it is already this early, that's a little bit worrying, but we're still in best-of-1 territory.
No, you're not wrong, and I think Beastcoast will have enough opportunities to turn this thing around, but they've only got 4 games left, and it looks as though XSET themselves are on an upswing, but we still have plenty more of the season left to go. We'll be right back with our second game of the day. Don't go anywhere.